Chairman, thank you for allowing me to provide sponsored testimony on House Bill 200. I'm pleased to speak with you today on House Bill 200, the Ultrasound Access Act, which would give every Ohio mother the opportunity to see an ultrasound photo of her baby before making an abortion decision. To demonstrate the importance of this bill, I'd like to share with you the story of a young woman named Mary. Mary sought and obtained a free pregnancy test from her local crisis pregnancy center. After receiving a positive test result, Mary stated that she was now going to have an abortion. The counselor at the center offered Mary a free ultrasound exam, and she accepted. Overseeing the ultrasound was the center's doctor and ultrasound technician. The center's ultrasound technician stated that Mary was adamant that she was not going to look at the screen. As the technician scanned her abdomen, Mary's baby was extremely lively and moving all over the place. Mary thought she was a couple of months pregnant, but as it turned out, she was 5.5 months along. The doctor described what he was seeing and mentioned that the baby's fingers were moving as if she was playing the piano. He asked Mary if she wanted to know the sex of the baby. She said no. It was then that the technicians sensed the prompting from the Lord to ask Mary if she played the piano. After a slight hesitation, fearing that she would sound ridiculous, the technician did ask her and watched as a tear slid down her face. As she looked at the technician and said, "Yes, and I'm a music major." Then she turned her head towards the image of her baby's face and asked with a softened tone the sex of her baby. The doctor said, "It's a little girl." Mary began to weep. After her ultrasound exam, Mary was asked what impact did the ultrasound image have on her. Mary wrote, "I saw her face." As she left the office, Mary was still uncertain about her plans. 6 months later, the center received a call from Mary asking if she could stop by the center. 20 minutes later, Mary walked through the door carrying a tiny pink bundle in her arms, and tears started streaming down her face as she said to the technician, "Thank you for being here that day." Unbeknownst to the technician at the time of her ultrasound, Mary was heavy into drugs. She said to the technician while holding her precious little girl, "She saved my life. I'm clean." The technician said, "You saved her life too." Mary said, "We saved each other." You see, ultrasounds only make a visible light inside the womb, but not only make light visible inside the womb, but unveil the truth of the unborn child's humanity and connect the mother with her unborn child. It was just over 5 years ago that Ohio passed its ultrasound law, and it has saved hundreds of babies' lives. But Ohio's ultrasound viewing option law only requires that abortion practitioners show mothers an ultrasound if he conducts one. That loophole gives abortionists a huge incentive to simply refuse to perform an ultrasound or to attempt to talk the mother out of having one. By requiring that an ultrasound be performed and shown to the mother, the Ultrasound Access Act will close the abortionist loophole, potentially saving thousands of additional lives. Last year, both Texas and Virginia joined 6 other states where similar ultrasound laws were passed, resulting in a significant drop in their abortion rates. It's time for Ohio to do the same and enact effective life-saving ultrasound legislation. As early as 5 weeks, unborn babies have an audible heartbeat and recognize their features. Yet abortionists hide what the visible evidence shows, that the nascent life is a baby and not a mere lump of cells. By requiring that an ultrasound be performed, described, and the mother be given an opportunity to view the ultrasound image, the Ultrasound Access Act can potentially save thousands of additional lives and protect mothers from making a decision they may long regret. The abortion practitioner planning to perform the abortion must perform the ultrasound or provide a list of facilities to provide ultrasounds without cost. This important pro-life legislation would give mothers the opportunity to see a picture which is worth 1,000 words, saving tens of thousands of unborn babies. There are far too many stories of mothers under the negligent care of abortionists eager to perform abortions on mothers without even confirming a woman's pregnancy. Abortion procedures are costly, and the providers who rush into performing abortions without confirming a pregnancy stand to gain financially. But the woman contemplating an abortion risks a perforated uterus and other complications, the guilt and brokenness of an abortion, and all for an abortion done under false pretenses. Although blood and urine tests help detect a pregnancy, only an ultrasound proves its viability. In fact, medical literature shows that up to 1/4 of first-time pregnancies are not viable and will end in miscarriages with no intervention at all. That's why guidelines set by the American Institute of Ultrasound Medicine and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists recommend an ultrasound to confirm viability. According to the Ohio Department of Health, in 2011, a total of This does not account for non-surgical abortion using the abortifacients such as RU46. Many of these lives would be saved if mothers could see the whole picture. Passage of the Ultrasound Access Act would enable mothers to see truth about the small but very alive person inside. An ultrasound law is necessary to help protect the most defenseless among us, unborn children. Please join me in guaranteeing that all mothers in Ohio have an opportunity to see a sonogram image of their little baby.